Kelsey Taylor here. Welcome to another episode of Kelsey Compares. Now this is something I've been playing for, I believe, over a year. This is originally going to be the first episode of this series, but it didn't took me until, like, I don't know, a month and a half ago to finally get this new movie on DVD. Of course, the first episode ended up being where I compared The Grinch. Today, I'm going to be comparing both Disney Cinderella. Now, I'm sure everyone knows the story about Cinderella. It's too obvious to review one of the movies. So I'm gonna like doing like Kelsey Compares, like which one is the best version. And yes, there's so many versions of Cinderella out there. I'm just gonna compare it to the Disney ones, the one from 1950 and the 2015 version, to see which one's the best version. And this became very exciting for me to do this. You know, like I have to watch both movies back again, and I still enjoy them both. But which one's the best version? Like which one tells the story the best? Which one has the best characters? And yeah, let's get on with it. This is Kelsey Compares Cinderella.
Salagadoola, metricaboola, bibbidi-bobbidi-boo. Put them together and what have you got? Bibbidi-bobbidi-boo. Salagadoola, metricaboola, bibbidi-bobbidi-boo. It'll do magic, believe it or not. Bibbidi-bobbidi-boo.
Now, I have combined this list like in 5 categories to Best Cinderella, Best Prince, Best Step Family, Best Fairy Godmother, and Best Story. So let's get to Best Cinderella first. Now, the Cinderella in this one is kind of a, like I'm sure some people would say like a very like interesting character. You wouldn't say interesting, not an interesting character in a way, kind of like a Influence on Girls or something. She's like pretty sweet and kind. The new one is kind of like that. This was actually the toughest decision I had to make on Best Cinderella, because when I was watching this movie again, I was like, I don't know, it's like, I really don't want to make this into a tie. I was trying to figure out which one's the best Cinderella, like most independent, like they're the actors who did the voice Cinderella in this one did a good job, and this one didn't do bad either. You know, Lily James, I thought, did a good portrayal of Cinderella, in my opinion. I'm sure some of you may disagree. I'm sure most of you would agree with me somehow. I was like trying to figure out like which one's the best Cinderella, and it became very, very difficult. But as I watched more of this movie again after not seeing it since I saw it in theaters, I was like Cinderella's kind of like more like she can sometimes like stand up for herself and kind of more independent than the Cinderella did. Like in the old Cinderella, there's no scenes where she like you know talks to her stepmother like defending herself, or like I would say questioning her. This new Cinderella has the guts to question her stepmother. Go like, why are you so evil to me? Why do you treat me like shit crap? You don't treat me like I'm your daughter. You know, like you're not my mother in some way. And I like the moment those scenes were on, I was like, okay, this has to be the best Cinderella. She had the nerve to question her stepmother, why she's so evil. I thought she's more independent and more outgoing than. Like, don't get me wrong, I really like the animated Cinderella character, but this one I felt like, you know, she has the guts for a more independent and question her stepmother, and you know, it's like you can tell that she was getting very tired of being treated badly by her stepfamily in some way. So, point goes to the new for Best Cinderella.
Your Majesty, I'm no princess. I have no carriage, no parents, no dowry. I do not even know if that beautiful slipper will fit.
Now let's move on to Best Prince. Now this was pretty easy. And I'm pretty sure ever since the new one came out, I'm sure a lot of people would agree that, like if you really think about it, the prince in this one's not really shown up as much and not very interesting. It doesn't have that much of a character. This is like the one thing that the reboot really improved on. The prince, you get to learn more about him. He has more of a character, more of a personality, and I think more charming than the animated prince. You know, has more lines with Cinderella, more scenes with Cinderella, and you know, like I really like the prince. I think he's one of my favorite characters in this reboot more than in the original. And of course I can't spoil something. Like he appears at the end, but you have to watch this reboot because it got a pretty good laugh, and you know, like my mom was like laughing, and I was like, oh, that's like hardcore. So yeah, again, point goes to Nanu for Best Prince.
Yes. You're right. That's exactly how I feel.
Now let's move on to Best Step Family. I'm just going to call it just Step Family, you know what I mean. Evil stepmother and stepsisters. Kind of both in the new category. Both these have like different kinds of like the evil stepmother and stepsisters. Like something about this one, that the stepmother and the stepsisters in the animated version, it's kind of like more evil. Like in this one, like some people would say the stepsisters can be kind of annoying a little bit. The stepmother is kind of like they're both kind of different. Like the stepmother that was like, you know, can be sweet and kind of evil. But something about like mainly the reason why I'm gonna pick the old one is for best designs of the villains, and as well as their, you know, their character. Like the stepmother have a great cool design, a great attitude. The stepsisters are evil and nasty, and that's kind of pretty much what I think of like an evil step family. Like they can act real snobby and look kind of evil in a way, not super evil, but kind of like have a unique design when you think of an evil step family, and that's more I think about. So point goes to the old for Best Step Family.
Now let me see. There's the large carpet in the main hall. Clean it. Girls. That's quite enough.
Now let's move on to Best Fairy Godmother. Now, just like with the Step Family, both fairy godmothers in both these movies are like kind of completely different. Let me talk about this one for a second here for the new version. The fairy godmother played by Helena Bonham Carter, she did a fine job, you know, like a different kind of a fairy godmother. I haven't seen her in anything else besides this, so I can't really compare her to other movie roles. I'm not going to act like I don't know who she is. I've known her beforehand, but I don't think I've seen her in other things besides this. So, yeah, I have no problem with her as a fairy godmother, but which one's the best version? Again, just like with the Step Family, what I think of. When I think of the fairy godmother, I think of kind of this nice, sweet, gentle fairy godmother who really wants to help. And, yeah, and again, the way of her design, like the design of the fairy godmother in this one's kind of cool as well. But this one, you know, is like she's has a very sweet voice and very generic, and yeah, so that's pretty much what I think of an average like fairy godmother would be, especially to Cinderella. Nice, and of course the design, and of course she sings the song Bibbidi Bobbidi Boo. Everyone knows that. In this new one, she says Bibbidi Bobbidi Boo not in song, even though it's a song in the end credits sung by her. But this one, I mean, I like this fairy godmother the best. Very sweet and kind, and you can't really top that. So point goes to old for best fairy godmother.
Nothing, my dear. Oh, now you don't really mean that.
Oh, but I do.
Nonsense, child. If you'd lost all your faith, I couldn't be here. And here I am.
Now let's move on to best story. Now, of course, Cinderella is a timeless story. You know, everyone knows it's kind of obvious, but like which one of these versions like tell the story the best? Let's look at the animated one. If you really watch it back, there's a good amount of scenes with Cinderella, but it's pretty much like sometimes there's filler with the comic relief with the king and the Grand Duke, and especially the cat and the mice. Now, the cat and the mice, these are very they're like down a bit, like they're not overplayed. There's very little scenes with the cat and the mice, but if they only last for like a few seconds, like the main focus is usually should be on Cinderella. And of course there are some really good scenes, like I could have also put another category, best king, but I don't know, like I would say it has the best king in there, like in the original ones always like king's kind of can be a goofball at times, but I really thought like the scenes with the prince and the king were very like heartfelt and very moving in a way. So yeah, and you know, there's a lot more scenes involved with Cinderella, and yeah, that's all you know, because this one has more like focus on the cat and the mice, even though not in the you know, all the way, like they don't like make the whole complete movie like 95% cat and mice. It's just focused more on Cinderella, and this one also has like a new addition I have to talk about. It's just shows more with Cinderella's parents, and kind of different too. Like her father dies when, like, after he left, after Cinderella's all grown up, while, you know, Cinderella's father died when she was still a child in the animated version. And I was like trying to figure out, like there's also more scenes with the Cinderella and the prince, like I said before, like how they first met before the ball, and kind of like a different turn, like you know, the story takes like a different twists and turns in this one, and I'm also like, I was also going to compare, also throw another best dress transformation scene, but you probably already seen it in the intro already, and I don't feel like comparing it. It'd be kind of disgrace to compare to one of the iconic scenes in a Disney anime movie, but I think the dress transformation scene is beautiful. Don't get me wrong, I also like the one in the animated version, but like the dress is like so beautiful and blue, and you know, so overall I think that's the best story compared, like more developing the characters, more scenes with Cinderella. I'm always going to like the animated one, but by story, I think the new one wins. So, point goes to new for best story.
Mr. Kit.
It's you. Isn't it?
Just so.
Your Highness.
Now, let's look at the votes here. Like I already wrote them down beforehand. So, Old gets 2 points for Step Family and Fairy Godmother, while the new one gets 3 points. Best Cinderella Princess Story. Yeah, I can't believe this. The winner here for Best Cinderella Movie is the new one.
Are you looking for this?
So, I'm sure there may be some people that may disagree, or you may agree. What made you think I put the new Cinderella movie in like one of my top 5 favorite movies of 2015 at number 2? I mean, it's still a good movie. I still enjoy it. I always gonna enjoy the original anime one as well. So if you haven't seen the new Cinderella, like if you really like the anime one, like check this out. It's not bad in my opinion. So let me know what your thoughts on this. Like, do you agree the new Cinderella is the best one, or do you think the anime one is better? And hope you like, I'm sure there's going to be some disagreements, or like you can agree with me in a way. Just would like to know your thoughts. So anyway, thank you so much for watching this episode of Kelsey Compares. I'll see you guys next time, and until then, adios.